Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast by Closers.io where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Samuel Kanzam, and in each episode, we'll uncover the stories behind successful startups, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future expansion. Today, we're excited to have Morgan Katz, the CEO and founder of Ticketnology. Morgan will be sharing more about her founding story, as well as giving us a glimpse into her plans for future growth. So let's jump right in. Morgan, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you, Samuel. I'm excited to be here today and chat with you.
Of course. Take us back over the last 4 years. What specific problem really inspired us to start the business?
Yeah, absolutely. So pre-Ticketnology, I've always been in live events, and we would sell tickets to a company and always say, see you at the game. And then you never saw them at the game. And we've all been there and we've seen empty suites or lower levels that weren't filled. And you just kind of wonder what's happening. And so there was this disconnect from the person who was buying the tickets in the company to the person who got assigned the execution of those tickets. And how could we bridge that gap, connect those dots, and just make it an easier process for them where they could actually ROI, increase their usage and everything else. And so Ticketnology was born.
Excellent. And walk us through how that offer, what does that current offer look like for someone to come into work with you? And also how has that changed over the last 4 years?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're a SaaS platform. So everything, we take those tickets from multiple teams, multiple venues, and put it into one login. So it's now centralized for everyone. So you can see when sports leagues cross over in timeframes, everything's now together. So it just makes it easier for the everyday user. With that, it has evolved from what features we first had to what features our clients really need now. And as digital ticketing has changed, we've changed with that as well. We have some really unique features, such as the share link that works like an incognito calendar link to share them out with other people. And then some different reporting that people want to know, internal versus external usage, how many times they've made overall requests for tickets, not just how many times they've been to an event. So we've evolved with our offerings as people have used the system. We're very interested in what our customers are using, and that's how we plan our roadmap moving forward. So we are a service that is a super nice to have. It's not something that's always a need to have for companies. And so we take that into consideration when we work on pricing, when we work on features, just to make sure that we're really maximizing the value for them. And from the beginning to now, features have changed, pricing has changed. But one thing that's never changed is we have never charged on how many tickets you put into the system. We've always been a flat rate based on features. And that's where we continue to stay the same. We don't believe in, because you have 5 extra tickets, it should be $5,000 more. That threshold doesn't work for people. And so we just don't move forward in that path.
Gotcha. And I know you said you have a background in the ticket experience before ever getting into the space or the ticket world. Specific for you, how have those experiences really influenced the way you handle business now?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is my first job to not have a walkie-talkie ever. I've always been on site in a venue and on property, and that was amazing. And just the problem solving that you have to be able to execute in a live event, right? You have a firm expiration date on the opportunity right there. That really just changes how we look at things. Everyone on our team here at Ticketnology comes from an event background of some sort, whether it was major league teams, clubs and theaters, sponsorship world, everyone's been in that space. And so they just understand when we need to have urgency and when we also need to have more strategy to avoid those urgent situations going forward.
Gotcha. And most, it's no secret entrepreneurship is difficult, right? Most founders have that moment or maybe a couple of those moments where it's like, man, what are we doing, right? Almost to the point where you want to give up. Have you had those challenges along the way? And if so, how have you really overcome those and continued to grow over the last 4 years?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, I've had those challenges. Everyone has. Being in live events, we went through a pandemic where there were no live events. So that was a big challenge. And it's just as you reach that next level of growth, as you reach that next level of what's next and wanting to grow, things pop up all the time. I am a big fan of peer groups. I do 2 different peer groups, one that is entrepreneur focused and one that is software founder focused. And I get a lot of education and experience shares from others through those groups. And that's really helpful to set the strategy of going forward of what we want to do and have a plan. And I appreciate that very much. And so there's ups and downs. Some days it's every hour there's an up and down, and sometimes you're like, man, this is good, this is fun. And you just got to ride those positive waves out and know that they're always going to come back, even when you're having those tricky times.
Absolutely. On the business side of things, walk us through the current client acquisition process. How does someone who's looking to have a service in this space, how do they find you? How do they come and work with you? And what does that engagement look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a pretty big presence on LinkedIn, and then other sites too are our website, ticketnology.com. But a lot of times we work through referrals. And that's just because season ticket management is not a common phrase that you might just think of and want to say out. But you might say, man, season tickets are a pain. And someone else is going to be like, yep, but then I went to Ticketnology and this is what they helped me with. And so we do operate a lot through that. And we still have, cold inbound and all of that and outbound as well. But referrals, we love getting and love supporting through that. We do operate on an annual agreement only. And here's why. We have so much seasonality in our business. So if you have football tickets and we were not annual, you would sign up in August, dump us in January, and come back around. And it just doesn't work for what we can help you with and what we want to build here. So that's one thing that's a little bit unique about us. Oftentimes it works out well for the customer because they're in multiple seasons. And so they're trying to facilitate and really need a plan for a year-long strategy. We have super quick account setup. We're under 2 days to get your account set up and connected with your tickets. So again, really customer forward and focused. And every account gets 2 representatives on their account, an account manager and a ticket coordinator. So that way there's a lot of moving pieces, and those are 2 experts, one on the customer service side and on that experience side, and the other one more on the technical side. If there is an issue, if there's a connection issue with some of the ticketing platforms, or if barcodes are delayed and they need to be sent very last minute, there's lots of ins and outs on the technical side. And so that's where that comes in. And that pair is really crucial for our client success, which is why we put 2 people per account. Again, something that makes us a little bit more unique than our competitors.
Absolutely. And walk us through how the team is currently structured at the moment.
Yeah, so we're a small but mighty team of 7. And so we've got some account management and ticket coordination that I talked about, and then the rest is on operations and development, right? So being a software platform, always got to have developers so that we can continue to put the best foot forward for our customers. We're a fully remote team. We have people all over the place, and it works for us. And so we do a lot of things such as trivia once a month, where a team member comes to the Monday morning meeting with a trivia deck ready to go, and it's whatever questions they want to talk about that day, whatever their 5 trivia questions are. And it has been every topic, but it's so fun because being fully remote can be challenging. But little things like that, we've been able to incorporate, and people have fun with it and connect outside of just, hey, did this get done, or where are we on this project, which is so important.
And there's no better time for a trivia event than Monday morning meetings as well. I love that.
Exactly right.
As we look currently in the business, what would we identify as the current bottlenecks? Is it on that lead generation component, the sales process, capacity, fulfillment, or is it something else?
Yeah, it's definitely top of funnel, right? So again, season ticket management, not a top key ranking word on Google or on any of the sites. And so figuring out how what we say matches what the terminology of what the season ticket holder is saying. And so that's taken a lot of time for us to figure out over the last couple of years, but we feel really good about where we are now. And we also want to talk to specific markets for us now. So we have gone from a national approach to we're just going to market in every market to, man, we're building something really cool with about 10 clients in this market. Let's get to 20. And so a little bit more ABM marketing has been really helpful. But top of funnel is still where we have opportunity to continue to get better.
Gotcha. And as we look forward the next, let's say 6-12 months, what would we say are the core priorities for growth moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. We're really focused on client growth this year. So we've got some new initiatives in place, some different product updates that we think will bring some people that we've had conversations with in the past back into our pipeline, which we're really excited about. We're never trying to match others in the market. We're trying to do what we want to do that are game-changing deliverables for our customers. And so that's really what we're working on this year. And we've got a big product update coming out in May that we're super excited about. It's about 5 different features that have been enhanced in some capacity. And so we're really excited for what that's going to bring for everyone that has fall sports. Again, the seasonality of us is just a little bit different than a normal software business. And so we're excited for that. After that, we're going to start working on partner growth, team growth, venue growth, partnerships there so that we can help them better serve their customers. We can help that minor league baseball team get some retention. We can help that NBA team get those clients back in their seats.
Absolutely. And here's an interesting question for you. If it was a situation where resources were not a factor at all, completely unlimited capital, time, human resource, what would we implement or change to really accelerate the growth process moving forward?
I love this question. We'd grow our team. We would grow our sales side, our marketing side. That's number one. Our development side, we would grow our developers so that we can meet customer needs faster. We're able to do a product change for a customer in about a 3-week, 4-week time period. I'd love to get that under 2. I'd love to get something unique and custom super quick to them. That makes sense, right? We're not rebranding the whole thing purple, but we're also making things that make sense for them to have. So sales and marketing development is where that would live, as well as, just an increase in what we're able to provide our customers would be pretty impactful.
Specifically to the events world and the world of ticketing, what do you notice, or what are some of the misconceptions about that world that maybe the average individual wouldn't understand?
Ticketing is complicated, and people get frustrated buying tickets. I think there was a study out recently that said like 63% of people walk away from buying a ticket because they get frustrated put it in their cart to actually buy it. And so it's complicated, but it doesn't have to be. You just have to learn who the players are. What we like to help people understand, really, if we can, is if you're looking for tickets at a specific venue, please learn who the primary ticketer is. So just because the tickets are on 10 different sites, that's not the primary. Always go to the primary first, whether that's SeatGeek, Ticketmaster, AXS, whoever it is. That's where you'll be able to get the gauge on where the market actually is. And if you need to buy that $100 lawn ticket, or that's just an upsale price versus buying that $32 lawn ticket at the primary site. But that's one thing people don't always understand is primary versus secondary and how that interacts with venues.
And for you personally, what would you say the greatest piece of advice you've ever received about the world of business or the world of entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so 2 things. Normal gets normal is something really impactful that someone said to me, and I was like, okay, yep, registered. And it sits on my desk today. That comment sits on my desk today. The other one is numbers tell a story. And so when you look at your numbers, whatever your numbers are, whether it's your revenue, whether it's your retention, whatever that critical number or numbers are for you, that's how you tell your story. And that's how you know how your story's going to end. And so that's really important, is what numbers are you watching and which numbers to tell the story that you want to tell. But normal gets normal is the top one.
Absolutely. And ultimately understanding that data drives decisions in everything that we do. But if you don't track the numbers, how can you determine what's really happening?
That's it. It's amazing how many times new entrepreneurs are like, oh, I'm just scared to look at the numbers. Well, that doesn't help anyone. So numbers tell a story and you got to learn them.
Absolutely. Is that the same advice you would give to, let's say, a new founder starting out, or what else would you include as advice to that person?
Yeah, I think that one for sure, right? Like know your numbers, figure it out, tell the story, and also find where you can get the support. Being an entrepreneur is not sunshine and roses every day. And if that's a peer group, if that's a partner that you co-found with, whatever that is, find some source to have someone to say, am I crazy or does this make sense? And just know sometimes even when you say, am I crazy, they might say yes back, but they'll help you figure out why or what they're thinking or experience share in that. But really know your numbers, find a way to communicate about what you're doing as an entrepreneur, your journey, the ups and downs, because otherwise you can get lost in this real quick.
Absolutely. Morgan, I want to thank you for your time here today. If someone's interested in learning more about you or potentially partnering with you, where should they go?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am on LinkedIn, pretty active, Morgan Katz. I have a little ticket after my name too. You can also check out Ticketnology, and then my email is morgan@ticketnology.com.
Perfect. To all of our listeners, if you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also find more resources and insights at closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their sales through trained sales professionals and world-class marketing systems. Until then, keep climbing, and we'll see you in the next episode.